Hey, you're looking for a podcast where you can hear some great hockey legends tell us what's going on in their lives today? Well, this is it. It's the Domino's Pizza Overtime Podcast. I'm your host, Gino Retta. Today's guest, he's a good one, a Stanley Cup champion, an Olympic gold medalist. He won the Rocket Richard in the 02-03 season with a 50-goal season, and after playing the most games in franchise history, the Colorado Avalanche retired his jersey number 23 into the rafters in 2018. Our guest today, MILAN HEJDUK. MILAN, how are you, my friend? You look good.
I'm great. You look good as well. Yeah, everything is good. Happy to be living my life, and everything is fine.
Where are we finding you now? Because I know you spent a lot of time back at your home in the Czech Republic, and from last I heard, you were living in the Colorado area. Where are you now? How do you spend your time?
Yeah, we're in Colorado. Like you mentioned, we spent about three and a half months in Europe, in Czech Republic. We still go back, but mainly we're still in Colorado. We love it here. It's a great state, and we like the outdoors. We like to ski, and people are super nice here. So that's why we kind of made it our home here.
Listen, Joey Sakic was an old teammate of yours, obviously. You very, very successful guy, Hockey Hall of Famer. And I want to start with a quote that he had about you, because I mentioned right off the top you had that 50-goal season. You were a terrific goal scorer in your time, and you made for some great highlights. And I want to read a quote that Joey Sakic once said about you, and I thought this really told the story. Joey said, "Milan had some of the quickest and smoothest hands of anyone I ever played with. Milan was not only one of the great goal scorers in the history of the franchise, but one of the best in the NHL for well over a decade." What was it like to hear one of the greatest players of all time, Joey Sakic, and a former teammate of yours, make a comment like that?
I mean, it's great, especially coming from legend like Joe is. It's a huge honor. Obviously, I was really lucky throughout my career to play with some phenomenal players, and Joe was definitely one of them. Peter Forsberg, another one. There's plenty of others, but having comments like this from Joe, it's great. It's just phenomenal, and really, actually, matter of fact, I'm part of the alumni, and then we had a skate Tuesday morning, and Joe showed up there too. So we played together on Tuesday morning skate.
Is it nice to still hang out with the guys and play a little bit?
Yes, it is. Like we have started the alumni group here about 3-4 years ago, and we do a variety of games and charity events throughout the year. And we have once in 2 weeks we have some skates, and guys get together, and we're having blast.
I want to get to the success, obviously, that you had with the Avs, with your Stanley Cup, with Joey and Adam Foote and Ray Bourque and those guys in a couple of minutes. But I want to start the way it all started. And for you, it almost didn't start at all, because you were from the Czech Republic, and at that point, it was the communist regime. And you it was touch and go whether or not you were ever going to be able to make it to North America. Give our listeners an idea of what it was like for you as a kid growing up in the Czech Republic, the limitations that you had, and the opportunities that you moved towards.
Well, I remember I mentioned this in a bunch of interviews that the communist regime, as bad as it was for regular people, basically the whole system kind of worked that you want to keep the people in the country. You kind of lock them in, really. So, I mean, people couldn't travel in Western Europe and any Western countries. But for the sport, it was actually not bad. The communist regime were pumping money into the sports, and so the teams do well in on the international level, all the Olympics and stuff like that. So they can show the rest of the world that this system actually it works, and it's superior to let's say capitalism. So for growing up, actually, parents didn't have to pay for equipment and everything like that. So that's why, for a while, I mean, there's plenty of good quality hockey players coming out of Czechoslovakia. That it was that Czechoslovakia at that time, because the numbers from the grassroots, there's just like way more hockey players playing hockey in the youth level that there is actually now, because the hockey, obviously, as everyone knows, it's a really expensive sport, and so during the communist regime, actually, it was more accessible for families.
Listen, I was, like 20 years into my career covering sports and a lot of Olympic games at that point, and we always had the understanding of what it meant to be an athlete in a communist state, what it meant, and we all had these visions of, to your point, like when you were an athlete, when you were a prominent international athlete, we thought you were getting moved separately into a different spot where you were getting special treatment, special opportunities, special guidance, and all that kind of stuff. What was it actually like for you? Like, were you able to just continue as a young kid who had such promise, able to hang out with other kids your age, or were you being like, hey, this kid's a special athlete, let's get them together with special athletes over here and treat them completely differently? What was that like?
Well, like I can't speak to for other really older players than myself, because the Berlin Wall and the whole communist regime collapsed when I was 13. So
Right.
it was 1989, right? So I just grew up, I get like just a piece of it, really. But I remember like the guys, like the top players on the international level, they couldn't leave the country. There was some deal that they could leave, because a bunch of guys were drafted by NHL teams, really, right? And they could leave after so many years. They played for the national team. I think they had to be 31 or 32 years old before they could leave. It was the same thing with what happened with the Russian Five, right? These guys had to they had an opportunity to leave after so many years. They were kind of at the end of their careers almost, right? So for me, it was a little bit different. The regime collapsed when I was 13, so it was a little bit different. Everything opened up all of a sudden. We had access to NHL games and all kinds of stuff, and you could travel freely anywhere you wanted after that.
You were drafted by the then Quebec Nordique in the 1994 NHL entry draft, but you didn't come over to North America right away. You decided to play there for the Czech League for another 4 more seasons. What went into that decision for you?
Well, so I turned pro when I was 17. Actually, I was a senior at high school. Turned pro, started playing the Czech League. Yeah, and then I was drafted 18 by Nordiques, but you know, yeah, I'm not a big guy, but at that time I was even smaller. I didn't think I was ready really. So basically, I used it like playing basically in the minors, like guys get some years in AHL or college hockey. So this was kind of similar, and then I think it helped me quite a bit. I grew in you know into my body. I was just happened to be a better hockey player. I had a premier role on the team, so I think it worked out fine. Because sometimes if you leave too early, it actually can go against you too, right? Like you get stuck in the minors, you get stuck in an AHL or something. Because obviously I wasn't ready to play in the National Hockey League earlier, and it can go the other way. So I think it kind of worked out for me.
So you were ready physically then. You had made your mind after, you would have been in your early 20s at that point. Now you come to North America, but you don't speak a word of English. So
Right.
what was that like for you? Now you end up in Denver because the organization has moved. You end up in Denver and you don't speak a word of English.
Right.
What was that like for you, and how did they handle that?
Yeah, so I was 22 at that time when I signed the contract after '98 Olympics, uh, and came over. And yeah, either I had a couple of years of English in my high school. It didn't serve me well. It didn't work out. I didn't really understand what's going on here. So the first 3, 4, 5 months were rather tough. When you're sitting in the locker room and the guys talking about all kinds of things, and you have no idea what they talk about, or even coach, whatever coach gives is giving you some instructions. That time, the head coach was Bob Hartley. So the first few months were tough. Once I went through the training camp and I made the team, the Avs hired me English teacher, so I was taking some lessons after practices. So that helped quite a bit, and more and more I was getting more comfortable, and I think it's if you battle through something like this, it makes you stronger at the end of the day. Really, if you battle through it, and I think that's probably did it for me.
Get ready for the game with the Domino's $8.99 mix and match deal. Score big with any medium two-topping pizza and any two items like pastas, stuffed cheesy bread, boneless chicken, or classic chicken wings. Domino's has you covered. Order today from Canada's favorite pizza at domino's.ca. You mentioned the 1998 Olympics in Nagano. I want to talk to you about that because as somebody from the Czech Republic, I mean, life-changing for you. Actually, we had Dominik Hasek on the podcast a couple of weeks ago, and I got his perspective of what that was like for him. And I see you smile because the Dominator, one of the greatest goaltenders of all time, that some would say that one of the greatest goalie of all time. Czech Republic goes into that Nagano Olympics, and there's Canada, there's Team USA. Like, you guys did not go in there as a favorite. Russia, and I think the turning point of the tournament where you kind of woke everybody up was a game against Team USA. Is that where you went, oh my God, like we can play with these guys?
Yeah, definitely. Like you mentioned, we were definitely not going in as a favorite by any means. That was the first tournament where the NHL players were allowed to participate. So our team was kind of assembled, like half of the team were NHL guys, and we had some star players like Dominik Hasek, Jaromír Jágr, and others. And about half of the team were from Europe. So I was one of them. So we had the team kind of mixed from NHL and European guys. And so we entered the tournament really, we had kind of low expectations, but obviously awesome tournament with the NHL players. We went through the round robin stage, and then in the quarter, like you mentioned, in the quarterfinal, we were against Team United States. They just won, was it '96 World Cup?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So they had all the star players. I mean, Roenick and Kachuk and all kinds of guys, Bill Guerin, like they had phenomenal team, and we end up beating him and actually played really well. Yeah, the game was, I remember, I think it was a 4-1. Obviously, Dominator kept us in the game early, but then we kind of second half of the game we took over, and all of a sudden everyone realized, hey, these guys are for real. And Dominator played phenomenal the whole tournament, and he was obviously the main reason why we won the gold medal. It was
Canada in the semis. What was that like? Because that was an unbelievable Titanic. For those who don't remember, tied after regulation, tied after overtime, and you go into a shootout, and that was famous for the time that Wayne Gretzky was not named as one of the 5 shooters. And you smile about it as a non-Canadian. It's easy to smile. As somebody, a Czech who ended up winning that, what was the shock level like for you in the building and on the bench when you saw the list of the 5 shooters that Canada was sending out there for the shootout in the semifinals? Sudden death, winner goes to the gold medal game.
Right.
Gretzky doesn't get the nod.
Yeah, I mean, it was a shootout. Was a five-man shootout, right? Not a 3-man shootout, 5-man, and so we're like, okay, and you expect that Gretzky's gonna go at some point, and you're like, okay, maybe they saved him for the last shootout, and I don't know, was it Eric Lindros was the last one? I don't know who was it last one? Yeah, so it wasn't Wayne, and we were like, okay, wow, it's impressive. So either way, 10 shooters on both sides. The only goal was Robert Reichel. He goes post in low blocker on Patrick Roy there, and we win in the shootout. So I mean, what a phenomenal game! I mean, the team Canada was, was pushing at the end, and we were under siege. And Dominator was swimming and doing his thing there, and just he found a way to keep the pucks, away from the net.
And then you just kept beating the Titans. You knocked off the U.S. in the quarters, knocked off Canada in the semis. Then you faced Russia and you beat them in the gold medal game. What was that moment like for you when you realized it's over? We just won Olympic gold by defeating three of the biggest hockey nations in the world at that time.
Right. Yeah. And all three teams were loaded with NHL superstars. And you got to remember the background here too. Like it was, we kind of were getting informations what was going on that time in back home in Prague and in Czech Republic. Because the history with us and Soviet Union and we had 1968, we had our Soviet Union army came into our country and stayed there for 21 years. So obviously people didn't like Soviet Union or Russians at all, and we end up playing them in the Olympic finals in they call it the tournament of the century, or hockey tournament of the century, and we end up playing them in the finals and beat them 1-0. So just incredible feeling. I mean, the whole country was behind us, and you had like that time we were obviously in Japan, and we were hearing what's going on in every city. There are big screens on these squares, and then there's just tons of people watching these games, and it was just. I mean, it changed definitely my career. Kind of jumpstart me. After that, I signed a contract with Colorado, and what a unbelievable moment in Czech history.
What was the celebration like?
It was absolutely crazy, right? So it was in Nagano. We have this bus ride to Tokyo to fly home, and I remember the president of the Czech Republic, Václav Havel. The government plane picked us up there. There was some, actually, I don't know if it's, I mean, it's probably known, there was some damage on the plane. We were jumping, and like it's just crazy. And then we land in the Prague, and then there's tens of thousands of people waiting for us there, and then we get invitation to see the president right away. So we felt like a rock stars.
And you were a rock star. And then, like, on the heels of all this, and you mentioned that briefly, on the heels of your gold there, you obviously get some notoriety, get some recognition. Now you make your way over to the NHL. So your first three NHL seasons, you score 14 goals, then 36 goals, then 41 goals. And in that 41 goal season, what a season that was, the 2001 year, where you guys won the President's Trophy with the Colorado Avalanche. 118 points by the team. Joe Sakic, Rob Blake, Peter Forsberg, Adam Foote, Patrick Waugh, and of course, Ray Bourque even got dealt to your team. What was that run like for you in the 2000-2001 season?
Well, it started kind of even the couple years before, because my first two seasons, we obviously, the team was built right. The team actually moved from Quebec, won the cup right away, and there was still, the core was there. We had a phenomenal team, and my first 2 years we lost twice in game sevens in conference finals to Dallas Stars.
Yeah.
Right. So both game sevens were on the road, and before the 2001 season, we had a bunch of meetings before the season, and we were like, "Hey guys, we gotta secure this home ice advantage if it happens to go to game sevens." So we pressed the gas pedal right from the get-go, and then we had a great regular season. I think last only 16, 17 games, something like that. We win the President's Trophy, and you get in the playoffs, and then I in my career, I played a bunch of game sevens, and 80-90% of the time, the home teams won it. So I think it's a kind of big deal to play game seven at home for whatever reason. And we had to use it. Round two, we played against LA Kings, game seven at home, and then in the finals we beat New Jersey Devils, also game seven at home. So it kind of worked out to win the President's Trophy, and you had a home ice advantage. And And another thing, we having Ray Bourque, right? Ray Bourque actually came the year before. He got traded on a deadline from Boston Bruins. Never won the Stanley Cup, but he, phenomenal hockey career. Was in the Stanley Cup Finals, I don't know, 3 times with Bruins. Never won it, and he comes to us and wants to win the cup because he feels like this is the team that could win it. So we didn't get it done the first year, but his second year, like I mentioned, winning the President's Trophy and winning the cup. So and Ray was a like huge driving force for that because we every day you seen like how much the hockey and how much the chance to winning the Stanley Cup means for him. Like really true professional. That time he was not he was like 38 years old.
Oh yeah, he was
Right?
at the end of his career.
Yeah, end of his career, and you could tell like how he took care of his body and then how many hours before practices and games he showed up there and really truly professional and it's like we learned from him so much and it was he when we won the cup and Joe is not lifting the cup and just passes it to Ray Bourque right away. What a special moment, and everyone is in tears, and yeah, great moment.
I can't imagine because I remember when I mean, of course, the tradition is the captain lists the cup first, and then it's a great honor to be the first guy who gets the cup from the captain, and then that whole progression of how long guys have been there, and as you mentioned, Ray was on in years, he was late 30s. He just wanted, he didn't ever want to leave, he didn't want to be traded, but he wanted to win the cup, and then you guys delivered for him. That must have been amazing for you when you saw Ray Bourque, one of the great legends of all time, Hockey Hall of Famer ultimately, to be able to hoist the cup. That must have been such a special moment for you and everybody on the team.
Absolutely, and I think without Ray, probably I don't think we would win it because he was the driving force. Really, everyone wanted to deliver for him too because everyone knew like how great he was whole career and still was that time. He was really productive even for us and in the playoffs. He came up with some big plays and big goals. Uh, so and seeing the all race family, everyone is crying, and it's just what an incredible accomplishment and feeling. And at that time, I was still kind of young, but I don't know if that time it completely sunk in, but later in my career, it really did because early in my career, like my first 5 6 years, we were always deep in the playoffs, conference finals, or winning the cup. So you think, okay, this is how it's supposed to be. And then later in my career, when things went a little more south and we were rebuilding, then you realize this is not how it exactly works, and you realize how special it was early in my career to go deep in the playoffs and then accomplish and winning the Stanley Cup.
And you guys maxed out the celebration. I love the story of what happened after you guys had the celebration on the ice, celebration in the room, and then it continued. Share with our audience the story of what happened that night in the celly, and specifically Sean Podine.
Oh yeah, what a tremendous, great hockey player, great teammate, and great friend, Sean Podine. Uh, Obviously, I mean the usual the celebrations are always crazy, but Sean pushed it to another level. He never took his gear off for I want to say 24 hours or something like that, something crazy. And we're in downtown Denver, and he's walking in a full gear. People are going, "What's going on here?" Uh, what a special moment. I mean, at the end of the day, like I remember something out of the night, not completely everything. Obviously, we went crazy, but Sean, yeah, always in the full gear. That was just something special. I think he beat some records too, right? Like I don't think anyone ever done it to
Yeah,
being in a full gear for that long after Stanley Cup win.
that was a hell of a celebration. That was amazing.
Yeah.
Uh, and I love that even through that. I mean, you reached the pinnacle in international sport for hockey when you guys won the Olympic gold for the Czech Republic. You reached the pinnacle in the NHL when you win the Stanley Cup, but your career just kept going. I was doing the math the other day. You had 11 20 goal seasons, 5 30 goal seasons, 2 40 goal seasons. and one 50-goal season where you actually won the Rocket. And that was a year where you outscored Peter Forsberg, Marcus Naslund, Joe Thornton, and Mario Lemieux in goals. What was that like to hit that 50-goal milestone and to finish the season as the highest goal scorer in the NHL to win the Rocket?
Well, I think there was the 0203 season. It didn't start that great. We're kind of, I think I remember being around 500 team. I think Bob Hartley gets fired like in the fall.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Tony Granato takes over. Uh, we Tony put together a line with myself, Peter Forsberg, and Alex Tanguay, and we got absolutely on fire. I
Yeah.
think we end up being probably the best line, well, for sure, best line in the league that year.
Because Peter actually won the scoring title that year too, right?
Yes, and we were kind of competing against the Vancouver Canucks line with Marcus Naslund, Todd Bertuzzi, and who was the third guy there? Forget
Well,
the third guy.
that was the scorer.
Yeah, yeah. And so we're kind of competing against them. Actually, I happened to beat Marcus Naslund by 1 goal, and or yes, by 1 goal. And Peter actually beat Marcus Naslund also in points for, I don't know, by 3-4 points. But we got really hot after the Tony Granato kind of took over. We got hot, and especially the last 2-3 months of the regular seasons, really things were really clicking for us. And for me, it was phenomenal to obviously playing with Peter Forsberg, one of the best players ever played the game. Just an unbelievable vision. Like he could find you anywhere on the ice. Just my job was just getting open. And Alex Tanguay, really, I think he was kind of maybe underrated player too. Like he was phenomenal, great hockey vision. Also, both guys were kind of pass first mentality guys. So for me as a goal scorer, it was great to play with them. I just try to find some open spots on the ice, and then these guys would find me.
Not a lot of guys get to spend their entire career with one organization. You did that with the Avalanche. And in 2010, you got to be named the third captain in franchise history. Joe Sakic, Adam Foote, and yourself. That must have been just a spectacular honor for you.
Yeah, huge honor. When you are growing up and then you start playing hockey. Actually, by the way, I was never captain at any time in my career. Any youth hockey or junior hockey, never was captain. So this was definitely a special moment for me. We didn't do so well. We were going through rebuild, and team was really young, so it didn't go really great for us. But it was what an honor to for myself to be named captain, and then spend the whole season being as a captain after following Joe and Adam Foote. So definitely great experience. I wish we've done better on the ice, but it is what it is.
Unbelievable career. What an unbelievable career. And listen, I want to ask you about your boys. You've got twin sons, Merrick and David. Merrick is the winger, David's the D man, and they both play and go to Harvard. What was that, Milan?
Right, but that's definitely this is recognition for for my wife, that she always pushed them around from the young age, that not only hockey but school is really important too, and she was grinding them right from the young age, and they took it seriously, and so they happen to be good athletes, and a really good students, so end up going to Harvard, and yeah, we go to see them in Boston here and there, and we like to go there and seem like they're happy there. So that's what matters.
You seem like you're very, very happy, my friend. You seem like you're healthy. You seem like you're just enjoying the fruits of your labor. I can't tell you how happy I am for you that things are going so well for you, Milan.
Well, thank you very much.
Before I let you go, and I appreciate your time because you've been extremely generous with your time, I want to do something that we call 5 fast facts. I ask you 5 quick questions. You give me the first 5 things that come to your mind. You up for it?
Okay.
All right, time now for 5 fast facts with Stanley Cup champion and Olympic gold medalist Milan Hejduk. Who was the best teammate you ever played with?
Marty Skula. Marty Squill was my roommate for a number of years, and he's my really good friend, and he's from Czech Republic, so we kind of hang out together quite a bit.
Awesome. Who was the best coach you ever played for?
Plenty of good coaches in my career, but I like probably the most Tony Granado.
It worked out for you because when he came in, put you on a nice line, and you had a career year. Good for you. Who did you hate playing against the most, and why?
Well, there was a number of teams, but I never really liked New Jersey Devils, especially in their heydays. And playing against Scotty Stevens, that was dangerous. He finished few careers, and you better keep your head up.
That is true. No one in the history of the NHL, I think, hit harder than Scotty Stevens. After all the success in your career, both on and off the ice, is there one piece of advice you would have given yourself if you go back and speak to a 15-year-old Milan Hejduk and give yourself a piece of advice back there as a kid?
Not take anything for granted. I mean, it's not like I didn't work hard. I worked really hard, but I think I could even squeeze anything, maybe more out of me. That would be my advice, because sometimes as a young hockey player, you take and a lot of people do take some things for granted. But yeah, I would probably put even more work in.
One final question. If you hadn't become a professional hockey player, what career do you think you would have had instead?
Well, I was a decent tennis player when I was like 12, 13. I played tennis and hockey together. So I don't know if I would go that route. I don't know if I was good enough to play tennis, but that was my second best sport, and I still like to play tennis.
Milan, thanks for this. 5 Fast Facts with Stanley Cup champion, Olympic gold medalist, Milan Hejduk. Milan, thank you so much for this, buddy. I'm so happy that things are going so well for you, and it's going well for your boys. I really enjoyed our time chatting. Thank you for this.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, and take care.
Our guest, Milan Hejduk. Boy, what a gentleman, class act, and a terrific, terrific hockey player over his career. The Overtime Podcast is proudly presented by Domino's Pizza and Athletes Care. If you're watching the big game at home or hungry right now, Domino's has you covered. Check out the Domino's Mix and Match deal. Medium, 2-topping pizzas, pastas, stuffed cheesy bread, boneless chicken, or classic chicken wings. Any 2 items for only $8.99 each. Canada's favorite pizza at Domino's.ca. Athletes Care is proud to be celebrating their 26th year offering sports medicine services to both elite athletes and the general population who require rehab for a new or chronic injury or pain. Go to where the best go. Athletes Care Sports Medicine Clinics with 26 locations in the Greater Toronto Area and in Ottawa. Hey, if you missed any parts of the show, don't worry. Visit our website at overtimepodcast.ca. The Domino's Pizza Overtime Podcast can be found on Spotify, iTunes Podcasts, or any of your favorite podcast platforms. As well, please subscribe to our YouTube channel at O-Time Podcast. Until next week, Canada, I'm Gino Retta saying so long, hockey fans, and thanks for joining us on the Domino's Overtime Podcast.